Now listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime. That's great. This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth. Right now.
Ooh. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it. Hit it.
It's time for Mac's World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
Right there, Fox. Hey, good afternoon. It's 3:06 on a Friday afternoon. My voice sounds slightly different. I'm a little under the weather. I'm not. That wasn't even remotely funny. I'm Chris Roloff, sitting in for J. Michael McCoy. As you know, because everybody who was listening yesterday and most of this week, you know that I'm here because Mac is out, and because as the only superdelegate, I outvoted Frank's opportunity to be the host of the show. We had a rousing...
Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders and I are going to have a joint press conference, and we're going to protest.
Well, I will say, as program director, it is kind of rigged. You know,
yes, it is rigged.
It's slightly rigged, but it would not be Mac's World without Frank.
That's right.
Isn't that funny?
That is true.
Sad thing is, Mac is probably listening and just heard that, and now he's throwing things at the radio. So I'm Chris Roloff filling in today. We've got 2 hours of great broadcasting. Second hour, we're going to have the goal. Once again, is to have Pastor Dan Rude join us. Pastor Dan Rude is one of the pastors at Walnut Creek Church. They have multiple campuses. He, I think, is primarily at the downtown campus. And I'm doing weird things because I'm trying to raise my microphone. So it's a Christian radio station, see, Nate? So our mics are actually literally on the foundation of the Word of God. I just put a Bible underneath my microphone to raise it up because Mac's Bible is like...
2.5 inches thick.
What is that? It's like two, yeah.
At least.
That's at least 2.5 inches thick. So Dan Rude is going to be with us next hour. I think I'm actually going to talk to him about spiritual warfare, which is what he wanted to come in and talk with Mac about. And I want to continue that conversation. We talked about spiritual warfare yesterday, and I think Frank still has questions. I still have a lot of questions, and it's an interesting topic. I actually was hanging out with some friends last night, and they even mentioned that it was a good show, so we're going to continue that on. Jeb is producing today, and Jeb is actually going to be watching the chat. So if you're at webcast1live.com right now and you're going to chat, Brad, I'm talking to you. You're going to be chatting with Jeb actually today. He'll be watching that, so you can say nice and kind and encouraging things to Jeb. You're doing a great job. I don't care what Mac has to say. You're the best at this, that kind of stuff. Make him feel good. Lie to him is what I'm saying.
And what if he wants to beat up on you?
That's fine because see, I don't look at it. I don't look at that stuff, so I don't even mind. But for our first hour, we have a new team member, a new guest.
What? And do mention I'm watching the text line.
Yes, the text line is open. By the way, there's someone I haven't mentioned yet, and that is Bob Mozzarella, the Cat in the Hat. He is not here. He is not watching the chat. He is not watching the text line. He is off
on his DMORT training.
Is that what it is? I thought he was I thought he was getting someone in trouble.
Yeah, it could be.
He was in court again.
Using his badge and flashing his badge and his gun. And
yes.
That he never carries.
So Frank is going to be watching the text, so you can always text into the show as per usual, 515-809-0993. Now, on today's broadcast, we have, on this first hour, Nate Beard is our guest. Nate, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
You're a sharp-looking guy. I was right before the show started. I was talking about you have a very nice haircut.
Thank you.
Yes, it's in direct contrast to my lack of haircut and Frank's lack of haircut. So if you're listening, radio audience, 2 out of the 3 people in the room have shaggy long hair, and then Nate has a very nice, very.
Well, I didn't know I was going to be on video today, so I'm glad I actually got ready and.
Yeah, you showered and everything.
Yeah.
It's smell-o-vision. It's really fancy. It's a beautiful. That's nice.
That's probably just my deodorant.
That's nice. What is that? What is that?
It's whatever my wife buys.
Well said. Well said. Now, Nate, you are here, and I've got something in front of me called Message of the Open Bible. This is a bi-monthly magazine.
That's right. I work for Open Bible Churches, and this is our bi-monthly publication. It's been around since 1920. in various with various names, but it's always been the same thing. It is resources, it's testimonies of people from Open Bible churches all around the world. And so we can compile stuff. It's our basic news publication, as well as we do different themes like what we're going to talk about today, and we have some online stuff as well. So we have the print that goes out every 2 months, and then we have an online link that people can go to as well.
Well, and the theme of today of your magazine is tackling pornography. So the whole issue is about the struggle of pornography and all of us fighting against it, because it has become. I'm 38 years old, and so when I was in high school is when the internet became a very real thing, and that's a really bad time to find the internet. Is in when you're a teenager, especially when it comes to the world of pornography. So we're going to be talking about that. And I was flipping through this magazine, Nate, and I saw a picture of a familiar face, Pastor Spencer Karoff here.
That's right. Pastor Spencer actually wrote our featured article in this issue, and just talked about his struggle, his battle with pornography. And he's very real. Just talked about how he went from A to Z, and it's a great read. And I really respected his honesty and his candor through the article, and you guys will like it since you get to hear him and talk to him quite frequently here.
Yeah, so. And we'll know that he is a sinner just like me. That's
right.
what I'll find.
That's right. That's right.
if you were doubting, yes. Well, let me take a couple steps back. If I wanted to how do I get a copy of do I have to be an Open Bible member? Do I have to go to an Open Bible church?
You do not. We have a couple different avenues for you. Our website is openbible.org. And you can subscribe to the print version there. You can actually buy this issue specifically if you want this issue. And that's all. You can find that on the homepage. There's an image right there. And then you could go to openbiblemessage.org, and all of our articles are on there. All the ones that are in the print version, and then our online exclusives and other news pieces are there online as well.
Now, how did you get wrapped up with this Open Bible group? Now, Open Bible is, for clarification, Open Bible is a denomination.
Open Bible is a
denomination.
Yep, it's a movement of churches. We are Pentecostal.
Okay.
We don't handle snakes or anything like that.
But you do have tambourines. Is that
some churches have tambourines?
Some
yes.
That's always when I think. Frank, you think of rolling in the aisle, swing from chandeliers. These are the things you think of.
Yes.
Right.
Speaking in tongues. Yes.
All that kind of stuff. But so I just say tambourines. But so you guys are, charismatic or Pentecostal. You actually use the P word, the Pentecostal
That's
word.
Right. Yep.
More than just charismatic, you would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I like what Pastor Spencer says, pentelectuals.
Yes.
So.
Right. You're fully engaged intellectually, not just emotionally.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. So is the Open Bible, you called it a church movement? Rather than a denomination, is that kind of insider lingo?
I think the legal term is movement.
That's the legal term?
I believe that's it. So,
okay.
But yes, you could say a denomination of churches. We have churches in the States, and then we have churches all over the world as well.
Is that the church group you grew up in, Nate?
I did. I grew up. My dad was a church planner. He was a pastor with Open Bible for. He's still with Open Bible as a regional superintendent. And I grew up Open Bible. It's all I've known. I went to our Open Bible College for about 7 months, and then I realized that I wanted to be more involved with media, and they just didn't have those classes there, So I came back home and studied graphic design, studied video a little bit. I was sort of apprenticed under a filmmaker here in Des Moines for a while, and
so like movies, like feature film, that kind of film,
no,
or
just funny videos, really, and the basics of editing. And
you wanted to be a YouTube star, is what?
Yeah, I didn't really even think about that, but I guess I could be. Yeah,
yeah. There you go.
I'm more of a jack of all trades when it comes to media. I'm not really specialized in any one area, but I can do a lot of things okay, not any one thing amazing.
Sure.
So I have kind of a wide skill set there. So
nice. Now, where did you go to school to learn all the graphic design web stuff? You said you had a mentor, I know that, but did you go to school for that as well?
Yeah, I took formal classes here in Des Moines at Central Campus when I was a senior in high school, and then I took classes up at Hawkeye Community College in Waterloo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what were you doing? How long have you been doing this with How long have you been working for Open Bible now?
I've been working for Open Bible. We just came up on 4 years. And so we didn't have the online message when I started. We didn't have basically all of our social media presences. So I kind of walked into a blank slate and was able to kind of build what I wanted to build, and under the direction of our communications team. And so I'm the digital side of it. We have a print manager, we have an editor, we have a communications director. So I try to stay in my lane as much as possible. But every once in a while, we share as a team. So
yeah. How did you get excited about digital stuff? You said, you going to school at the Open Bible School, that was not really an option. So what made you think I need to get more involved in digital media, film and things?
I mentioned that I worked with that filmmaker, and so he would work with different church groups to make ministry geared videos for different conferences or whatever. And so I was doing that, and I just sort of realized that ministry didn't have to be just a pastor. Ministry could be used with media as well. And so growing up in Open Bible, I didn't necessarily connect those two dots. And it was at that point that I realized, this is a whole new world of leveraging technology and digital media for the gospel. And so that's what I've been about. And now I do a lot of that with social media and communications, is leveraging that stuff for the gospel. Every time a new social media presence comes out, I sort of educate myself on it and think, how can we leverage this to reach more people, tell our story, and that sort of thing. So
absolutely. Nate Beard is our guest. He is with Open Bible, the church movement here. The home offices are right here in Des Moines, Iowa. Yep. You're involved with all the online presence of Open Bible.
Correct.
We're going to talk more about Nate. We're going to talk more about pornography and what it's like to be a teacher, a pastor's kid, when we get back right here on 99.3 FM The Truth. I'm Chris Roloff, filling in for Mac.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for the opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Right. Well, that thing you said about that deal. Hey, good afternoon. It's 3:21 on a Friday afternoon, and I forgot to remind Jeb, our producer. I'm Chris Roloff, filling in for J. Michael McCoy. This is Max World Live on 99.3 FM The Truth, but I forgot to remind Jeb it's Friday, and I absolutely have I got up this morning, Jeb. And that song, I was brushing my teeth, and I was singing the It's Friday song. I love the It's Friday song. Nate, have you heard the It's Friday song?
I try to forget that song.
You try. Well, I have bad news for you.
That's going to be in my head the rest of the day.
Yeah, you're welcome. I give this as a gift to you. Just go throughout the weekend knowing that it's going to be all right, man. This song just puts me in the best mood ever. When I first heard it, Mac did it, right? It was his fault. Or no, Jeb, did you find this?
Yes, I actually showed it to Mac, and Mac wanted it on air, and we did it, and everyone was dancing, so it worked.
I mean, how do you not dance? Rebecca Black, right? I'm her biggest fan, I think.
Yes, that is it.
Yeah, I am her one fan. I am her one. This is like, Nate, this is like that song that's so bad. Initially, you just hate it, and then you love that it's bad.
It grows on you, and then you can't forget it. Like, you literally cannot forget it.
That's right, because it's Friday.
Right.
And we're going to party, and yeah. It's going to be awesome. Welcome to the show today. We are going to have fun. Next hour, Pastor Dan Rood hopefully will be in. We're going to continue our conversation that we had yesterday, and we'll probably have a lot, which is the topic of spiritual warfare. We're going to talk about that some. This hour, Nate Beard is with us. We are going to be talking about pornography, but before we get to pornography, we're going to be talking about technology. Frank is here as well. I didn't get rid of him.
That's right.
I tried.
Trying to watch the text line.
He's trying to.
Yes.
Is it hard?
No.
Is it difficult?
Well, I don't have the same screen that Robert.
Yes.
Montserrat had. Montserrat.
Yes.
Montserrat.
Robert.
Robert.
Yes, very. You have much respect for Bob.
Yes.
You call him Robert. Yes. So you can text into the show, ask any questions via text at 515-809-0993, or you can call in with questions or comments. Phone lines are always open. It's your voice we want to hear at Max World, 515-244-0077. And even though Mac would recommend him, I would recommend him too, and that's Seth Walker. Seth Walker is a great real estate agent. In fact, I live in Urbandale, and just a few days ago, I got a flyer in the mail that said one of the houses in my neighborhood was sold, and that there were like 9 people who made offers on that house and only one took. So that meant there are 8 people looking to live in my neighborhood. Your neighborhood might be the same way. So maybe you aren't in a place where you want to sell your home, but you think, you know what, if somebody's going to pay a really good price for it, this might be a really good time to get out of my house, get a new something, upgrade. Maybe you need to downgrade. Sometimes people need to downgrade. That's actually how I got into my house. The people who own the house that I moved into, they needed to downgrade, and we bought the house from them. So if you're looking for a real estate agent or considering putting your house on the market, I encourage you to call Seth Walker. His phone number is very easy to remember. It's 515-577-3728. It's so easy to remember. Frank remembers it at will. What's that number, Frank?
That would be 577-3728.
There you go. Call Seth Walker, great real estate agent that you can work with, RE/MAX Real Estate Agent. So Seth Walker, real estate, if you Google it, you'll find him. He's a handsome guy. I mean, he's like you can see on the video screen by looking at him. He's a good-looking guy. All right, so today we're going to talk with Nate Beard about, you said in the break that part of what your role is at Open Bible is to be up on the social media, up on technology, up on where that stuff is going. And I've mentioned a little bit here that your magazine, the May-June issue of Message of the Open Bible, this magazine, is about pornography. And it's no secret that the internet is easy access to all kinds of pornography. There's all kinds of pornography throughout social media.
Oh, yeah.
Mac can attest to this. Mac has literally, I think Mac has the limit or the maximum number of friends a person can have on Facebook, but he's always getting more friend requests all the time. And he gets very inappropriate friend requests. I mean, it's basically pornography coming towards you through Facebook, through Twitter, through other kinds of social media there. So, Nate, your job is to know about social media, but you said in the first segment, but to use it for the gospel's sake.
Yeah, sure. I mean, part is to know how to use it, leverage it for the gospel, and then also to resource our ministers and our leaders in Open Bible about how they can use it and also the dangers of it. You know, the availability of pornography has changed so much over the course of the last few years. But, you know, let's say, 10 or 15 years ago, you had to be very intentional about going to look at pornography. I mean, it was your decision to, sneak your dad's magazines, or, your friend's dad has some magazines,
right.
or, if you were really brave, you actually went to the gas station and bought the magazine, right?
Right.
Now, really all you got to do is like misspell a Google search and you
Sure.
get all these things that visually assaulting you that you never even asked for. And
Right.
so here we are, social media is born, and then, they find a way to get into social media. Social media is great in so many ways because it's one space, like Facebook is one space where you can go to get all your news. You don't have to type in the local news station. You don't have to type in Nike. You don't have to type in where you want to go to their websites. Their websites come to you in one place.
Right.
And so if you want to learn about those things, you just like their page and you subscribe to them essentially. And then their content comes to you. You don't have to go looking for it anymore. And so social media is a place for all that stuff to come right to you. You don't even have to go look for it. And so pornography has sort of latched onto that. And they're taking the message to you.
So you have pastors now that can basically orchestrate their sermon off of the computer. You look up words in Greek, those software programs or whatever are on the computer. So you can sit there, you can use Microsoft Office to type out your sermon, however you want to do it. So that temptation has got to be there for pastors to just hit those keystrokes and pop up something in the middle of it. So how prevalent is that in our churches and amongst our ministers?
Oh, man. Well, I can tell you right now, one of these articles is called The Facts About Pornography, and it has all the facts about different Christians. Barna has done several studies. I think one of the studies, I hope I don't mess this up, but it was like 60% of full-time pastors had viewed, not necessarily addicted to it, but had seen some form of pornography in the last month. And so with media everywhere, and also, we're all carrying around a computer in our pocket.
Right.
And so it doesn't really matter where you are or who you are, it will find you, and you need to make those decisions beforehand and understand what sort of triggers you, and stay away from that as well. So I think that's why it's even more important now to be connected to the Lord and let Him guide your life.
I just want to share this little bit of, and Frank, I know you got a comment, but I'm looking at this graphic here. One of the charts here says this is in the message, the Open Bible magazine here, annual video views on one pornography website since 2009. So this is on a single website. So the number of views in 2009 were 22.3 billion. That was in 2009. 22.3 billion views in a year of pornography. 2015, this would have been just at the end of last year, 87.8 billion. So we've more than almost tripled that number within just a few years. So it's not going away. It doesn't look like it's going down, the amount of pornography.
It was about 2012, I would say, maybe 2011, where smartphones really took off. And you can see the numbers shoot up from there. And that same website says that 12 million hours per day spent globally viewing pornography on that same website.
Like most people, I have a number of email addresses. I think I probably have 5, and I think I've got some associated with the webcast broadcast. But I noticed when I signed up for Yahoo in particular, and I guess I'm not picking on them for any particular reason, but as soon as I got on Yahoo, I started getting all kinds of stuff, and this was just a new address. Do you find certain emails or search engines have more problems than others, or do you think it's...
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the more popular ones do, just because that's more people are using those, so they're... purveyors of pornography will use those more often.
Well, for example, I have a Gmail account also.
Mm-hmm.
Have several other accounts, but the Yahoo account in particular, and that's the one I use the least. But you get these requests, hey, this buddy wants to hook up tonight, email
Right.
this guy, email that guy, girl, whatever, and you get
Mostly
these,
guys for Frank, yeah. Mostly
you get
guys
these
for Frank.
requests, and I'm wondering how, being that I rarely even use that email account, why do you think it is that certain ones just you get bombarded with?
I have no idea. I know that's not the answer you're looking for.
Well, I mean, that's the truth is, Frank. I mean, it's pornography. The pornography industry wants to find you, and they're working hard. There's a lot of money to be made in this stuff because it's incredibly addictive, right? I mean, you see an image, and then as soon as you get a little taste of it, you're going to dig far. It's like drugs in that way. I mean, our brains, our minds, our bodies respond to it like we respond to a drug. You just get a little taste, and you just want more, and you just want more. And so they know that. So if they can find us, if they can reach out to us, they're going to come after us. Nate Beard is our guest here on Max World on 99.3 FM, and he's with the Open Bible denomination here for digital media. Does the website for the National Church Movement. And we've got the magazine open in front of us. Really slick looking magazine, by the way. But here's a really disturbing, shocking statistic. And I actually kind of want to put this question out to all of our listeners right now. Do you think that pornography is wrong? Do you think that it's morally wrong? Do you think looking at pornography is wrong? If you're a married person, do you, with your spouse, look at pornography together? I mean, I know that there are people that do that. Do you think that that's morally wrong? Do you think looking at pornography alone is morally wrong? When does it become? Is it wrong when you accidentally look? I want to know. So send us a text if you think pornography is good or bad. Tell us what you think. 515-809-0993. Is pornography wrong? Is it morally wrong? 515-809-0993. And I'd love to hear your voice as well. You can call us at 515-244-0077. And the reason why I asked this question, Nate, is I looked down at this infographic, and there are these little pie charts. And maybe we should call them donut charts because today is National Donut Day. So we'll call them donut charts. And the middle donut chart shows me the percentage of young Christians who believe pornography is morally wrong. This has to be answered in a percentage. You'd think you walk up to a young Christian, a high school student, a middle school student at your church, in your church youth group, and you walk up to Bob or you walk up to Cindy and you say, have you guys ever seen pornography? You know what pornography is? And they go, yeah, of course they know what it is. What do you think it's morally wrong? You would think the church youth group that they would all scream, yes, it's wrong, it's bad, pornography's bad. Well, this statistic right here says 32% of young Christians believe pornography is morally wrong. That was in February of this year. That's like a third of that means that 3/4 of young Christians don't think it's morally wrong. That's the surprising bit about me. How did we go from, because I've never thought, Nate, now I don't know if you've ever thought, I've never thought pornography was a good thing. I have been attracted to it. I mean, it's come into my purview, right? It's come into my world before. But I've never thought, oh, this is a really good and positive thing. Frank, what do you think pornography is great?
No, it's not a good and positive thing. Generally leads to addiction if you have an addictive type personality.
Well, that's what I want to know. I want to know what you think is pornography morally wrong. We want to hear your voice, 515-244-0077, or you can send us a text at 515-809-0993. I'm already out of time. I think I'm off the air, truth be told, because
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed right or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Welcome back. This is Max World Live. I'm Chris Roloff filling in for J. Michael McCoy right here live on the 99.3 FM, The Truth. We're so glad that you could be here. We are on webcast1live.com as well, where you can watch us. Unfortunately, you can see what we look like. And I apologize now. If you're at Webcast One Live and you're looking at us, I'm sorry. Nate's a good-looking guy. Frank, not so much so. Me, not so much so. And then another good-looking guy, Jeb, he doesn't have a camera. So what's the deal with that? Why don't you have a camera, Jeb, our producer?
Yeah, I've been getting on Mac about that, but he's yet to set me up with a webcast camera, and I'm hoping maybe one day we'll get one.
I think we can figure it out. It'd be cool. Your camera could be really cool, like behind the scenes, because you are surrounded by all.
Yeah,
the
we can kind of show the technology and show people kind of how the radio station operates. It'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be really fun. We can always hope. We can always dream. And Nate Beard is here. He is our guest. He is with Open Bible, the church movement. Their national headquarters are right here in Des Moines, which is really cool. And in the break, you mentioned that the very first church of the Open Bible church movement, which is now all over the world, started right here in Des Moines. And Pastor Spencer Karoff is the current pastor of the first church of the Open Bible. And that literally is the first church of the Open Bible anywhere in the world. And how many churches now, do you know, worldwide?
It's about 2,000, I think.
2,000?
Yeah.
Man, it's outstanding. And I told you before we got on the show, being from Texas originally, moving to the Midwest, I was less familiar with Open Bible, but when I met the people of the Open Bible, I'm very familiar with the kind of church that it is. It's, Bible-centered, gospel-empowered. I love the way Spencer talks about it. It's really the Scripture-empowered, the fullness of the gospel, God's Spirit moving in our lives. And today we're talking about pornography a little bit because their current issue of Message, the Open Bible magazine, is tackling pornography, hope for lost innocence. And the entire magazine gives us tools and information on how we can battle pornography. And I know that we want to hear from you. You can send us texts at 515-809-0993, or you can call us and put your voice on the radio at 515-244-0077. And we want to go to the phones now where Renee is joining us. Renee, welcome to Max World. What's going on in your world?
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Praise the Lord.
There, amen. You called us all the way from Johnston. How's the weather up there?
in Iowa. It's about 78 degrees. It's a beautiful day.
Well, down here in Des Moines, I think it's about 71. So, I mean, it's so much cooler up north. That's just the way that goes.
I'm only like 15 minutes away from you.
That's true. It is very close. I'm being very silly, Renee. I apologize. I'm being very silly.
Do your simple math. I can play that game. Let's go.
Well, hey, Renee, what do you say? Do you think, I asked the question before we went to the break, do you think pornography is morally wrong? Is that what you're calling in about?
Yeah, God knows morally wrong. And, we tend to, as human beings, to make our own rules. And it's so easy to justify the wrong things that we do in our life. I'm guilty as well of things that I still have to work on. When you get into a relationship, we all know that God wants us to love our spouses, more than ourselves. And pornography is just another thing on the internet that, is a temptation, I believe, from Satan.
He definitely uses it. Renee, I agree with you. I think he definitely uses pornography to really mess up our lives. And as I think you pointed out, Renee, it takes us away from our spouse. It takes us away from the one that we have committed our lives to. I've entered a covenant with my wife. I've entered into a covenant with my wife, and pornography wants to destroy that marriage.
Oh, sure. There are many tools that the devil has. It's not just that, it's drugs, it's alcohol, it's, adultery, you name it, man. He can find your weakness, and he can sneak in the back door when we're not even looking. And so we need to keep our eyes open.
We sure do, Renee. Thank you so much for your call. I appreciate you listening. You're welcome to call us anytime.
Hey, and rock and roll.
All right, we will rock and roll, Renee. Thanks again for your call.
Okay, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. You can join the conversation just like Renee did by calling us at 515-244-0077. I want to know, do you think pornography is morally wrong? Now, I'm going to guess that I'm not going to get anybody to call me and say that, no, I think pornography is really great. But if you think that, I really, really, really want to hear from you, because I want to understand why you would think that or how you believe pornography is good. But the reason why I asked that question is because in the Open Bible magazine, we've got this statistic here, this infographic that actually shows that young Christians, when they were asked if they believe that pornography is morally wrong, only 32% of them said that it was morally wrong. That means almost 3/4 of young Christians don't have a problem with pornography. They don't struggle against it. So we want to hear from you, 515-244-0077, or you can send us a text anytime at 515-809-0993. We go to the text line now. Frank, we got some texts.
Well, we got a text.
We got one.
It says, the power of porn in high school. My band teacher did a search for flutes and got a bunch of junk. Wow.
Search for flutes? Man.
Just another example of being visually assaulted when you don't even care about it. You searching for information or a photo for a project you're working on, and it just pops up.
Here's one that I heard was even a little bit more nefarious. You know how young girls like Barbie dolls, you mistype something in the word Barbie, and you'll be amazed they say what you'll find. Because that's what kids are typing for whatever,
Sure, yeah.
Well, Nate Beard is our guest. Like I said, he is with the Open Bible Church Movement and the online magazine, as well as you help out with the print magazine here. So, Nate, you said it yourself just now. You can Google almost anything now, and even a simple, nice Google search, Googling, as this text said, you Google for flute, and you get all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah. The devil will try to get to you in any way he can. We all know that. But my article talks about how they use the sort of the idea of a missionary is to go to another land. You have a message to take to those people, and so you sort of take on characteristics of that culture to help speak to them about the gospel and about just helping them in general. And that's what media does. That's what the pornography will do. They create Facebook accounts. You were talking about, Mac.
Right.
They create Twitter accounts. They create Instagram accounts. And that they come to you. They friend you. They'll post comments on your stuff. And that's just a one quick look maybe is all it takes for some people, And if you're like me, I hate being visually assaulted like that when I'm not even looking for it, or, it just pops up and I'm not expecting it at all. Renee said, whenever you got to be careful, because whenever you let your guard down, well, sometimes you don't even know your guard should be up. And with media now, it's like you could just be in your office doing something innocent, working on a project. All of a sudden, boom, there it is, and you're like, "What? Where did that come from?"
Well, especially in your Facebook news feed, right? So I'm flipping through my Facebook news feed. I want to see what's going on with my family, right? Because most of my family's not here in Iowa, so I'm checking out what they're doing. I'm seeing what my friends are doing. I'm checking out what like you mentioned, some of the pages that I like, what the radio station's up to, whatever the different things that I'm interested in. And you never know what could just be paid advertising, even that could be right there in the middle of your news feed.
Or maybe a friend likes to look at that stuff and they like or comment on a photo or a video, right? And that shows up in your newsfeed because you're friends with that person,
right?
You're just scrolling through and there it is.
It almost makes you wonder if we should be on it at all. But anyway, Frank, what's your comment?
Well, and just sitting down watching TV with your kids, and you have a Hardee's commercial come on of some scantily clad lass eating a hamburger can assault your visual senses there, and your child is sitting there watching.
Well, I tell you what, this hour is just flying by. Nate Beard is our guest. He's with the Open Bible Movement and the Message Magazine. What's that website, Nate?
Our main website is openbible.org, and then the Message Magazine is openbiblemessage.org.
Fantastic. We're going to be back more. Let's talk about pornography some more when we come back. Do you think it's morally wrong? I want to hear from you right here on 99.3 FM, The Truth.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
It is Friday, and it is 1,000% more fun when that song's on the radio. I mean, you thank me. I can feel you right now thanking me, saying, Chris, thank you so much for playing that song on 99.3 FM The Truth, because now I can sing it all weekend long and have a really good time. I'm Chris Roloff, filling in for J. Michael McCoy, and I'm glad you're here, because without you, really, I would just be talking to myself, and that's not very fun. So we thank you for being here. 515-244-0077 is the way that you can get involved in the show. We can hear your voice that way. You can send us text at 515-809-0993. Frank is here. Jeb is producing. Pastor Dan Root is in the on box, or the in-bat circle. I don't know what you call it.
On deck circle.
On deck circle. Thank you, Frank, for your
baseball knowledge.
Baseball knowledge, yes. And so we're going to have Pastor Dan Rude coming up next. And Nate Beard is my guest, has been my guest for the first hour. We got a few more minutes with you, Nate. And you brought up an interesting point. The trigger question was, we had Renee call in, we had some texts. The question was, do you think that pornography is morally wrong? I would say yes. I think pornography is morally wrong. And the reason why we brought that up was because in the Open Bible magazine, the Message magazine, there was an infographic here, a donut chart, because it's international, or it's National Donut Day. The question was young Christians who believe pornography is morally wrong. So when young Christians were asked if they believed pornography was morally wrong, only 32% said yes. That means almost 3/4 of them said no, they don't think it's wrong. And Nate, you made a great point. You said if you were to ask those same kids, those same group of kids, do you think human trafficking for sex purposes is wrong? You said you probably think those kids would say 100% of them would say.
I bet you get 100% of them to say that's absolutely wrong, and I would never condone it.
Right, but you made the point. I think what you said was that human trafficking is the supply for the demand. Or do I have that wrong? Do I have that backwards?
Human trafficking is the supply to the demand of pornography. You see this chart that goes up to 87.8 billion people watching. I mean, it's crazy how many multi-billions of dollars are spent on pornography every year, and it is directly linked to human trafficking. And so the people that think human trafficking is terrible and unthinkable, well, that's the demand to pornography.
Right. So if you're you're participating in pornography in any level, whether you're spending money on it or not, right, you're keeping that engine running.
There's likes, there's views, and they watch that stuff. So
yeah, they're paying attention. So Frank, what's up?
Why is there's always some cutting edge, sharp edge to technology? In that, I can remember, I'm old enough to remember when the Polaroid instant cameras came out in the 1960s, where you didn't have to take your film to have it developed. Then in the 80s, you got the VHS cameras. Now it's the internet. Now it's your cell phones. And all these things can be used for good purpose. But the backhand of that is you get this seedy, sleazy stuff that is part of that technology. How do you fight against that when this same computer here can be used for the Lord, but you can take this same computer and use it for Satan?
Yeah, well, I mean, that goes back all the way to the beginnings of communication. The very first way to communicate was to speak. And the Bible talks about the power of the tongue. It can be used to build up or to tear down. And so there's always a cutting edge to any sort of communication or any tool. And, I think just like learning how to curb your speech or, always thinking about things that are noble, think on those things, pure things, really your relationship with the Lord helps you in your relationship with other people. And so the closer you are to the Lord, the more kind, the more graceful, and the less that cutting edge happens. Does it still happen? Absolutely, because we're still human, but I think the more you rely on God in those things, the more you rely on His Word, and the more you can educate yourself on what it means and what it says, that'll help you when that cutting edge happens.
I think you make a great point, Nate, that, we often turn to, people say video games, movies, people, we want to blame things. We want to blame social media. We want to blame the internet for the rise in pornography. And really, these are just tools that have made people able to do what their heart desires to do. And that's really the great problem. I mean, when you pointed out speaking, right? I mean, James says, that the tongue is powerful, and that it's set on fire by hell. I mean, you can with your mouth really bring life to someone, encourage them, build them up, or you can speak down to them, you can tear them down, you can crush them, you can make them feel small just with your words. And I mean, none of us can say, well, I want to get rid of speaking, because it is through speaking itself that the gospel can go out. And that's what you do. That's your role, Nate, not speaking, but your role at the Open Bible Church movement is to use digital media, social media, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the whatever, to use those tools to proclaim the gospel. And I think that's really cool. What are some neat things that you guys are doing over there right now that you're excited about, other than the website, which you said is just kind of getting really cranking?
We just published a book called We Believe, and that is core truths for Christian living. A lot of the reason why people, I think that pornography is morally okay, or these other statistics, are because I think we've moved away from the core truths of Christian living, biblical living. And so we've produced a book, it's called We Believe. You can go to webelieveobc.com, and that goes through all the tenets of faith and communion, and who was Jesus, and who is God, and what does he expect from me, who is the Holy Spirit, and also several other topics that you can look at. It's great for small groups. It's great for individual reading. It's great for youth groups. I mean, it's got a lot of applications that could be can utilize. There's a leadership packet if you are leading a small group, where you can use it. It's got screen slides. It's got video intros. It's got the whole works. So we're excited about that. It's just been translated into Spanish, and so we are getting ready to publish that. And so that's what we're working on right now. We just started a Pinterest group, Pinterest page, and we have created boards of every single aspect of ministry of a local church. And so you have, we're still growing, so I'm sure you'll go there and say, well, why don't they have this board? But, men's ministry, kids ministry, outreach, all those things. We have all those boards with tons and tons of resources on each board. And so if my job is to resource pastors and ministers and leaders, then I feel like Pinterest is very, very powerful. This is one of the things we were talking about. This is leveraging technology for the gospel. So Open Bible Churches is our Pinterest account. You can go there and you can go to any board that you're interested in learning more about or getting resources for. VBS is coming up, all that stuff. And pin away, follow us and pin away. We actually have pinners, like 14 or 15 people who are pinning to these boards all over the country. And
Wow.
so they are just, whenever they go on, they have permissions to pin to these boards too. So we have new stuff coming all the time into those boards. And so we're excited to see where it goes. So
That's really cool. Well, I'm excited for the work that you're doing. Thank you, Nate, for coming on.
Thanks
Hope
for
to
having
have
me.
you on again sometime. There's a lot more we can learn about you. There's being a pastor's kid, what your dad's doing, kind of how God got a hold of you. There's a lot we want to learn more about, Nate, so we look to having you on again. I'm Chris Roloff, filling in for J. Michael McCoy. Next hour, Pastor Dan Root is with us. We're going to talk about Mission to the City, how their church has been serving our community, and we're going to continue to talk a little bit about spiritual warfare when you come back right after Salem Radio Network News at the top of the hour, right here on 99.3 FM.